All right. So I when I said that I was going to do 6 high performing habits of a leader, um, I was actually really excited and kind of got this like fire in my belly when I went back and read over my notes from Summit. This was one of the workshops that I got to go to. It was called the Leadership Workshop. So it was the same guy that was in the general sessions at Summit, Brandon Bouchard, or Brendan, I think that's his name. And he talked about 6 high performing habits as a leader. Now, 3 of them are personal, and then 3 of them are social. So 3 of them are going to be like things that you can do like as yourself, as your person, to help you just create and generate energy. And then the last 3 are going to be kind of more geared towards your business, but they all coincide as you being more effective in what you're doing. So I'm going to, I might refer to my notes, but because I don't want to miss anything. Haven literally went to bed at 8:59, so I had like no time to like look over anything. Okay, so the first 3 are, I'm going to tell them to you, and then I'll kind of break them down step by step. So number 1 for personal is seek clarity. 2 is generate energy, and 3 is raise necessity. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to like go into more detail about those things. So as a leader, I feel like there's always room where we can grow and learn. But this really stood out to me, and I'm kind of glad it's number 1, because I feel like if we don't have a hold and aren't clear on our goals, then we can't even really see our vision, and we tend to slack off. So number 1 is seek clarity. And what he's saying is, what is your vision? You have to know what you're going after. You have to be able to see it. Because I feel like if we don't have that vision, if we don't have that sight and clarity, then we easily get off track. And we don't have something to work towards. So we kind of give ourselves a lot of slack, and then we don't hit any goals because we don't have like a clear line of what we're going for. And so if you haven't, or even if you need to go back to this, like I feel like sometimes it's nice, even if you've been in the business for a while, to go back and like think like, why am I doing this? Like, why did I start this? And it might have changed from like when you started to now, because I know that mine definitely has. But ultimately, like, I love sharing about the healthy things that have worked for me to get my body to where I want them to be. And so I love sharing that with people. And so you just have to have a clear vision of where you're going, what your goals are, so that you have something to focus on. And I know, like Wendy talked about last week, breaking those things down to not only like quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily. So really thinking about those. I know Dan Hardy, the writer of Compound Effect, he says those seemingly insignificant things that when you put them together start adding up and really do truly make an impact in your business. Something that I want you guys to do, I shared this on our leadership call last night, and it's something that I started right after Summit. So if you've heard this before, I'm sorry, but it is finding 3 words. Like, really think about it. Like, we in the session, he had us like close our eyes and like think about our best self. Like, what would we describe our best self as? And he wanted you to come up with 3 words to do that. And so we like closed our eyes and we had to like literally shout it out. And it was kind of like the coolest thing, because we kind of felt silly at first, but then he kept like having us do it over and over. And by the end of the like, 3 minutes of us shouting out like these words that were like the best version of ourselves, you're like pumped. You're like, yes, I'm a visionary, and you're getting like super excited about it. I'll share mine. I said, I am a visionary, I am a servant, and I am purposeful. And so I want you to maybe take the time to think about 3 words that would describe your best self. And I actually have those set as an alarm on my phone in the morning, at noon, at 3, and at 8. So like randomly these alarms go off with these words in bold. So I'm constantly reminded throughout my day what I am about, what's my vision, and I'm constantly going back to that. So that's number one, is seek clarity. Number two is generate energy. One of the things he said is like, we get in these work modes where like we're sitting and we're working, or we're messaging and we're doing all this stuff. But he said, when we're going from place to place, whether it's from work to this work, this job of Power Hour, whatever it is, you need to give yourself time to release tension, so you can set intention. Because I feel like, and I'm so guilty of it, when I sit down at my computer, if I don't have time to like, okay, what am I going to do? Or have a list of things I do, it's so easy for me to get off task. And so like, I'm not intentionally setting that hour aside for me to work my business. And I like sit down and I'm like, you know, I'm ADD. So I'm like, okay, I need a message. Oh wait, I need to do this. Oh, I gotta message this challenger because she hasn't checked in 3 days. And I got, you know, and we get so like haywire, and at least I do sometimes. And so he said for every hour that you work, you need to set 5 minutes aside, 5 to 10 minutes, to just practice breathing exercises. Like just to breathe, just to think about what you're doing, so you don't just kind of have lost time. Like, I know we're all busy. We all have crazy schedules. A lot of us are working, whether it's at home or at a different job. And then we come back and do this. And so if we're not setting serious intentions about what we're doing with our business, then we kind of just lose track of time. And I know I'm guilty of that. So between major activities in your day, set time to release tension and set intention. So yeah, and I like this quote, and I found it on Pinterest, and he actually said it, but inhale confidence and exhale doubt. I feel like, you know, sometimes I get in these moments of like kind of freaking out when I'm about to like message people. And just recently I have just been like, forget it. Like, this is my job. This is my life. I have a vision. Like, I don't want to be working for somebody else my entire life. Like, I want to go on trips. I want to travel. And I just keep like reminding myself of these things. And so I'm having to like release the doubt and I feel like, you know, the things that the devil puts in my mind to make me think that I'm not going to be successful at this, or I'm not going to, you know, have the ability to say the right thing. And so I just have to like know that I'm doing this because I am being authentic about it. And then just really release that into my messages, because if I'm not, then I feel like people can feel that. But I know, like, one thing I've heard so many times is like, you have to 100% believe in the product that you're selling, because then you won't feel like you're selling it. And that's where, like, I'm so thankful that I have a job and a MLM business that I can truly like sit and chat with somebody and be like, this is the best thing. Like, hands down, there's nothing else out there that is this great. Like, you're never going to get like the trio of having a meal plan and support system and a great workout that's not crazy long. Like, you're never going to get that. And so I try to remember that and be excited about that confidence that I have and how much it's worked for me. And I know all of you guys have had amazing results with different programs. And so just remember that as you're like kind of second guessing yourself sending messages, just kind of go back to that place of, you know, that confidence that you've gained from this business. I just have like a lot of information, so I'm kind of, I hope I'm not talking too fast. If you have questions about something I say, please let me know. So number 3 is raise necessity. It says high performance leaders increase their must. So do what you're trying already more often. So like, if you're saying like, okay, I send out 3 messages a day, you need to do that more, you know, like up the ante a little bit, because if you're a high performing leader, it's kind of wanting to be at that next level. What, like, so like if right now,
look, I've got my earphones right here. I'll put my earphones in.
If you have, like, say you're sending out 1 message a day, like up it to 3. If 3 is kind of what you've been doing for the past 3 or 4 months, You need to up it. You have to go back to, like I said, the number one, seeking clarity and what's your vision, because they say out of 10 people, you might get one yes. So that just kind of gives you, like, numbers wise, how many people you actually need to be talking to. And this is not a call to action post. This is you going behind the scenes and really starting conversations with people. Like yesterday for my power hour, I was like, gosh, I don't know anybody I can talk to, right? I literally said that. I'm like, I don't know who I can message. Like, I've already messaged all the people who have liked my page. I've already messaged. And then I sit there and I'm like scrolling through my friends and I'm like, ooh, this person, I don't think I've ever talked to her. So I just clicked and sent, like, I'm thinking in the back of my mind when that chick said, like, hashtag don't be a bitch, hit send. I'm sitting there thinking that. And I send a message, you're like, hey, like, I have these amazing accountability groups. I couldn't pass up the opportunity to, like, tell you about it. Have you ever been interested in what I do? Like, have you ever been interested in one of my accountability groups? And I was so surprised because she's not somebody that I would think, because she's, you know, a little bit older than me. She's like, yeah, actually, I've been very interested. Can you share more? And I'm like, yes, I'm so glad I wasn't a little bitty. And so, you know, just getting that confidence to do that. So doing what you're doing, but doing it more often. I loved this quote, and it said, don't call it pressure. So this is like what a high performing leader thinks. It's not pressure. It's necessary for me to do well. So, like, you know, hitting Success Club, it's like, oh my gosh, you got to hit Success Club because it's this and this, and I have to get these points because, you know, and it's like, no, like, this is necessary for me to do well in my job, you know. And it's like changing, like, that frantic mindset to, like, more like business and being like, I am in this for a reason. Like, I want to do this job well, and hitting Success Club is necessary. It's not like a freak out moment. You're like, this is a non-negotiable, right? And so just kind of, like I said, raising that ante, raising the bar for yourself, because nobody really knows, like, how many people you're messaging. Nobody really knows how many people you're following up with. And so you have to, that just has to be a gut check for you to say, like, how long has it been since I've upped the ante for myself? And I just realized my screen says to be okay. So one thing they said was someone needs you to show up. So, like, on the days that you don't feel like showing up, because I know everybody has those days, someone needs you to show up. Somebody needs to see your message, even though they've never commented on anything or liked a post. Someone needs to see it. And when you're going through this process of business and trying to hit Success Club and trying to find new coaches and new blood for your team and all this stuff, you need to find something to fight for, something that you're going back to, whether it's those 3 words, whether it's a person, whether it's a dream travel place you have to find something to fight for. And you have to ask yourself, why must I do this well? Like, who needs me to be on my A game right now? And that, when I was writing that down while I was supposed to be paying attention to something else in, like, our teacher sessions today, I was like, oh my gosh, like, that's so powerful. Like, why must I do this well? Why am I doing this consistently every day and doing it well? Not like half-assed or just to get a post out. Why do I need to do this well? And then who needs me to be on my A game? Who needs me to send messages back within 24 hours? Who needs me to comment on their posts and just give them a word of encouragement that has nothing to do with Beachbody? Like, you have to remind yourself of those kind of things, because it's so easy to just get in, like, the hustle and bustle, like Christmas style, and forget why you're doing this. And so you always want to, like, remember, like, we're in this business of serving others, and you have to, you know, be excited about that, and then know that God's given you this platform to do your job very well. And so, yeah, I was like, ooh, gut check. Like, I need to be on my A game a little bit more often. So those were the personal 3 bullets: seek clarity, generate energy, and raise necessity. And honestly, guys, I can, like, take a picture of my notes and send it to you guys if you want. I can send it to your coaches so you can get, so you can have it if you want. The next three that I'm going to talk about are the social aspect. So this is like more things like you're doing in your business. I wanted to give you guys, I guess, more concrete things, like things that you can be doing. So they are like, a lot of them are basically just fundamental. And so one of the words, so on social, the number one thing is increase productivity. Productivity. So the definition for prolific is producing in large quantities or with great frequency. So the question he asked us is, what is your, okay. He asked us, what is our prolific quantity output? That means like, what are we doing in high frequency? So meaning like what matters most to you? What do you need to be doing? Like when you think about your business and you think about like the thing that's like a non-negotiable that you need to be doing daily, what matters most? For me, it's behind the scenes, because I know 100% I can have a call to action post, but if I'm not actually reaching out to people, more times than none, like my challengers, my customers, my coaches, they do not come from a call to action. Like it might be based off of that because they liked it, but I had to do the following up. I had to give the thank you to them, to start the conversation, to plant the seed, to build the relationship, to have a conversation going. So for me, mine's behind the scenes, and it says, whatever your thing is, do it exceptionally well a lot. So it just goes back to that all the time, you know, raising the ante and doing what you're doing already, but doing it more, because you're going to get better at it if you're doing it more. And it says the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing, right? So the main thing is to keep what you're doing and the good things you're doing, keep doing them. Just do them more and do them better. And that only comes with time and experience. And so it is a process, but you know, things like plugging into these team calls and getting into different trainings, like I know it's a lot, but it's your business. And like, if you're wanting to grow and you're wanting to learn, you are the CEO of your own business, and it is your job to do the digging and do the asking of questions and reading up and searching a YouTube video because you don't understand something, and continuing to do that, because you're always growing. It's whatever your business you're in, you're always wanting to learn. You're always wanting to grow. You are never at 100%. There's always something you can learn and get better at. And so that was number one, increasing your productivity. Number two was develop influence. So sometimes we have to challenge people, whether it's our coaches, challenging them to be more active in a team page, or challenging them to, raise their own ante. And some of that is helping them to think, right? So like sometimes as a leader, we have to kind of train and get people to understand like how we do things. So sharing what's working for you, sharing in a team page, whether it's Sister Empire or your team page or whatever it might be, but having those discussions and raising your ambition to do better, to do more, going back to raising that ante. But having you doing it is influencing others to raise the bar. And if you're in your business hitting High Success Club and constantly giving and pouring information and love and golden nuggets into your team, like they're gonna see that, and that fire and drive is just gonna snowball. I know in like the 3-day backstage pass group that Kate and Deidre hosted, there was so much fire and energy in that group, but it literally only happened because everybody put fire and energy in it. Everybody posted their transformation. Everybody talked about their coaching job. Everybody was on the calls and commenting and tagging the people that they entered. And so it's like, that was like that because everybody got together and was like, we're going to do this balls to the walls and it's going to be freaking amazing. And that's exactly what it was. And so as a team, you need to be doing that in your team pages. So setting that ambition high, getting connected, getting to know people, answering people's questions, like those kind of things are only going to make your team better, feel more like a community, and then it's just going to have a trickle-down effect, especially to new coaches who are coming in. Number 3, so that was develop influence. So just constantly growing yourself so that you can grow others in your team. Number 3 is develop courage. By demonstrating courage, that could mean a lot of different things for people. But one of the questions he asked us is, does your family and friends really know what you think and desire and love and are kind of having a vision for? Like that's courage right there, because sometimes like those are the people who are like, oh, you don't, it's so much easier, I feel like, to message or talk to somebody who I don't know versus somebody who's like, they know who I am, I went to school with them and stuff. Which is another reason I like messaging cold market people, because they literally have no idea who I am. So I can just like be me and not feel like there's this other thing like involved. But developing courage. So whatever that might be for you, just making sure that you're being courageous, whether it's in your posts getting more vulnerable, telling your story. Probably one of the best pieces of advice I heard is don't get bored sharing your story, because there's always new people that are watching. You might think you're telling it all the time, because you are and you should be. Something you can do is go back and look and see when's the last time like you shared your story. Your story is probably always evolving, and that's good. But just sharing your story, and you hear it all the time, but sometimes like I followed Kate for 10 months before I said yes to this opportunity, but she shared her story all the time. So like I knew her story. I could tell you her story just because of reading her stuff all the time. Like, and that's the kind of stuff that matters. And it is courage. It is stepping out of your comfort zone. But I feel like those are in the like biggest places of growth. I was thinking that today in my workout of 45-minute strength, and I wanted to quit at like 6 minutes left. I literally was like standing there like, I'm gonna quit. And then I was like, no, these are the times that you grow. Like Chris said that, like these are the times when you're uncomfortable, when you're hurting, when you're in pain, when you're frustrated, pushing through and like pushing against those walls are the times that you're really growing. And so I just wanted to, so that was develop courage. A question I have for you is not reporting as a leader. We're not reporting on all our strengths, because we know that like if you told me something like something I'm good at, I feel like I'm decently good at like talking to people, and I have like a bubbly personality, so it's easy for me to hold a conversation. But in order for us to grow as leaders, we need to think, what is required to be of service here? So for me to give my service and be a servant, because that's our job, is to serve others, what do other people need? Because that's our ultimate goal. We know what we're good at, but maybe what we're not so great at is what other people might need. And so we have to constantly think about that it's not just like us, yes, like use your strengths and like the things that God has given you, like use that platform to the best of your ability, but always be thinking of how I can grow into that other thing that people need to better deliver service to people and to lead others. Because if you're not thinking of the areas you can grow, like, man, I know I need to grow an organization. And literally, it's been a very long time that I've had a Zoom planned out. So I was like literally giving myself like high fives, because it's just not something that is natural to me. And so having something planned out is something that I have to work towards. But I know by me being planned and having organization, I am fully going to be able to serve others better and lead others better because I have a plan. And so you need to think about the things that maybe you're not great at and the things that you need to work on. And those are the kind of books you need to read to grow. And those are the kind of conversations you need to be having with other people in your pod or your success partner of like, I need you to hold me accountable to this. Like, this is something I need. And so you know, I think it's easy for us as like coaches because we, I don't know, I like to think about my strengths. I have like things that I'm good at, but then I also need to take what I'm not good at and try to really constantly grow in that area. So yeah, that's what I have. That was 6 high performing habits of a leader. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I just loved like reading my notes back and really like having some serious gut checks about, just constantly staying in the mindset of serving others, and also like where I find the love for my job. Thanks, Bridget. Does anybody have any questions about those things? Are y'all good? I'm so glad y'all got on. Was that helpful? Does that like kind of get you like, yes, okay, I have some things that I can like now look back on and like work and, try to see some areas that I can grow in, because that's what I want these Zooms to be places where we can grow and think and learn and just like continue to build that, and then relay that to our things. Yes, think of your 3 words. That was my action for tonight, was think of your 3 words and share them with either your upline or share them on your team page. There is some people that, didn't get on tonight. That's something that's so easy to go back to your team page and say like, hey, like these are the 3 words that I thought of. Like, what would your 3 words be? And just like get people involved, get people talking. I think that's an easy exercise for anybody to do, whether it's a brand new coach or a seasoned coach. So think of your 3 words, share them in your team page, and I am so thankful you guys got on tonight. So yay. Okay, all right, I'm gonna stop the recording. I won't mess anything up.